Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News. As we all know, since Thursday, the 1st of August, frustrated citizens have taken to the streets to protest under the banner of #EndBadGovernance in Nigeria for 10 days. Nigerians have grappled with unprecedented economic hardships owing to President Tinubu's decision to remove fuel subsidy. What has created even more tension and unease amongst the people is that Nigeria's public officials, frequently accused of corruption, are amongst the best paid in Africa, a stark contrast in a country that has some of the world's poorest and hungriest people, despite being one of the continent's top oil producers. The protest, which began peacefully, has turned violent in some cities, leading to confrontations between police and protesters. As a result, many businesses, banks, shopping plazas, and markets remain closed, fearing the situation might escalate into a crisis. The violent turn of events has resulted in significant loss of lives and disruption of economic activities. The pro-Tinubu supporters have said the current administration needs more time to address the challenges confronting the nation, while those who support the protest have called on the president to immediately address citizens and calm frayed nerves. We are heading for a short break, but stay with us because right after that, I'll be back to introduce our guests on the show. Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News. My guest on the show today is a gentleman who is passionate about the issue on the table, the ongoing EndBadGovernance nationwide protest and the response of the government to it. Joseph Edgar, popularly known as the Duke of Shomolu, who is a man that wears many hats. Aside from his 22-year career as an investment banker, he's a force to reckon with in the Nigerian theatre scene, where he has tackled social issues and celebrated historical figures and also the Nigerian culture. He's also an author and a columnist who writes the very popular column called Loud Whispers every Sunday, a must-read on politics and the economy in Nigeria today. So, we welcome you today.
Thank you very much.
We're supposed to have another guest, and we're hoping that he comes in at some point because we need the conversation to be a bit more balanced.
Yeah.
But you are against the protests. Do you understand? So why are you against it? Why do you think it's not been done? It is not necessary, or it will not have the desired effect that they want it to have?
Okay, so let me state my position very clearly, because Nigerians are always bent on misunderstanding people. Now, I am not against the things that has led to the protest. I am in total support of the factors that has led Nigerians to where we are today, where we feel the need to air our grievances very aggressively. I'm in 100% support of it. But I just feel that the vehicle of the protest has run its course. This protest doesn't achieve anything, will not achieve anything, and comes across as for, I don't use the word comedic, I don't hurt people's feelings, I don't hurt those who have lost their lives in this, and I don't hurt people who have lost property and all of that. It's like this. But I feel that the opposition, when I say opposition this time, I'm not talking about PDP, the opposition, that is civil society organizations, people like us on the street who are not very happy with what's happening in the country today, should be a little bit more strategic, should show a little much more seriousness in engaging the powers that be in trying to seek solutions for our problems in this country today.
Well, but do you also think that even some of this opposition, and I'm talking about political opposition, they also exploit the situation by aggravating and adding fuel to this protest? And if so, what angles do you think they most likely exploit?
No, but it's very obvious, and that's why I see this man, this Adeburuba man, that son. It's just as far as I'm concerned, this issue, you get me now, it's just a joke. It's very clear how this will end. It's very clear that eventually it will turn violent, and it will give the government the opportunity to use legitimate force to attempt to quell violence, because government must protect life and property. Now, 24 hours to the event, you are still shouting, everybody should come. Now, the first day, second day, and I say, oh, please, everybody come back again, don't go again now, because they've started killing people. Didn't you know this will happen?
Because that's always usually the outcome.
So that is the joke of the opposition I'm talking about here. The opposition needs to start to gather themselves, you get, and begin to look at other avenues of engaging the system, engaging entrenched system outside of protest. Because protest in the last 10 years has not worked. It will not work. The socioeconomic dynamics of the country has changed phenomenally. So now we now have more people out of job. We have more people self-employed. We have more people daily paid. So when you disrupt economic activity, even for a day or two, you can't get their support. Because you have to eat. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can't get their support, you have to eat.
But what about the deafening silence of the president? Because people have also said that his presence would have
It's a strategy. What we don't...
Yeah, but how effective is that strategy? Because you need to come out there and connect directly.
I cannot
with
speak
people.
for him.
No, but if you were... But why do you not think that he's not coming out to talk directly to the people also has worsened the situation?
I think we have, and I'm very sorry to say, I think we have one of the weakest presidencies since independence. I think the movement from the campaigns to winning the elections, the way he won the elections, you get me now, to the court case, all of that had weakened his presidency. Do you understand me? Now, so I won't speak for him. I won't want to explain, want to explain why he's silent or otherwise. Do you get? My issue here right now is if we are really serious to make him sit up, do you get, as our democratically elected president, then we must show some seriousness on this other side. And protest is not seriousness.
Okay, what are one of the key ways that you think that, how do you think that we can get our message across more strategically?
God bless you. Now, it's a long journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Do you get? So it took our president over 30 years to get to where he is. I always forget that this person was here. This is the first time we're having people in power who were here. So they understand the volatility is here. They understand the dynamism is here. So doing protests and do all these things, people are jumping up and down, you get me now, it's just looking for shortcuts. Do you understand? There has to be a concise and strategic push at power, which is what the president did for 30 years.
Now that you mentioned power, you said the power belongs to the people.
Power
but that we don't know how to use this power.
Power resides with the people.
It resides with the people, but we don't know how to use this
Yes.
power. And we have not used it to our advantage.
Yes.
So explain how people as a nation
let me situate this conversation to this protest.
Okay.
So that we don't lose focus.
Okay.
What the people who are in these protests don't understand, and the president understands, is that it's a struggle for access to power that is domiciled with the people. Both sides need the people. The government is being strategic, the opposition is not being strategic. So the opposition is trying to access the power of the people through rhetorics, through emotions. They don't tifo, they don't buy plane, they don't understand the issues of governance that can allow for sustainable push towards the access to power that the people domicile. If you call any of these CSO people and ask them simple questions, what is the effect of the CBN CRR ratio on lending and manufacturing? They look at you. Are you getting me now? So when you now push me as a man on the street with rhetorics, with campus songs, what's that song you sing again now? We won't give up. There's only so far. It's like putting a quarter, half tank of fuel in a car. Before I reach Agam, we don't die now. There's only so far I can go. But see, government understands the dynamics of the people. That's why government, not government, don't let me go on this. That's why the other side, we come at that people, do you get me now, with tribalism. Religion. Palliative. Once you say it's, I don't know if I can say it in public, once you say, let me say Calabar, but don't let me say Igbo because it's vexatious. If you say it's Calabar, but I want to come and take over Lagos, it's over. It's over. Then you now follow that with 5 bags of rice. It's over. So this other side understand how to get the people. This other side are still using tactics that the Ghanaian used.
Okay, but so what are the tactics that you think they need to embrace
I
now?
think they should take aim at democratic institutions. Starting with grassroots local government. If you flood APC with 6 million new members who are thinking differently, that structure will collapse.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is that even the people who think differently don't have the opportunity to get a leg in. They've tried, they've lost.
Nobody in this world will give you power. Politics.
Yes, but I know that. But you have to fight dirty to seize it sometimes.
But not by violence.
How many people have that capabilities?
Not by violence. Not by risking people's lives. Not by destroying life and property.
Nobody's saying that.
It's a banal knocking of your head on the wall.
Yeah, but politics is a very slippery terrain.
Let us roll back.
How many people have the wherewithal? First and foremost, it's very expensive.
You don't need the wherewithal. You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me, madam.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you. Let's even take Tinubu, for example. How did they fight military government to a standstill? How? They were very strategic. They went to Radio Kudirat, they did Nadeko, they went into the private sector. Do you get me now? Seized control of the economy, did some very strategic things, got international support. It's a 30-year run. Do you get? So what you need is strategy, right-thinking people who understand the political dynamics of this country. I'll tell you something now. If you went to Tinubu's constituency, wherever Tinubu's constituency is, and take him out there, make sure they expel him from the APC there, what now happens to his presidency? It happened to Shomole now, as national chairman of APC. He was expelled in his ward. Are you understand what I'm trying to say? Yes. So if you galvanize the way we galvanize people during NSAS, and rather than go to toll gates and be singing war songs, you galvanize people to go and join these parties that have this distribution reach. Do you get?
Yeah.
And take over from that places. That's strategy. Second strategy, if you have, for example, a Showure, a Deji, an Edgar, or anybody of those kind of thinking, and flood the Senate to those kinds of people, do you get? They have strengthened the National Assembly in this role as a check and balance on the executive. But you not take a Showore who cannot win an election in the street. He wants to be president of which country? 200 million people. Is Nigeria a joke? Then you can't succeed. You now go under the bridge and be hey. No. Nigeria is very sophisticated. Nigeria is forget that we have a high level of illiteracy. We are a very sophisticated political market. The woman on the street will tell you things about Nigerian politics that you yourself will be weak. So that woman needs to see seriousness. Otherwise, she will jump and follow you, collect that bread from either side, because either way it goes, it doesn't change our lifestyle.
You know, that's the sad thing about this collecting bread and palliatives, because I feel it's just scratching the surface.
Now you're talking.
But you remember I was even saying to you that, you know, also the cost of governance is another big issue. And you said that it was like a drop in the ocean.
Yes.
But remember that there
economy.
remember that there was a woman, a civil servant who was at the Senate at one time and told the Senate that the money that NAS earns in 1 year is more than what all the civil servants in Nigeria earn in 1 year. So, like it or not, I still feel that the cost of governance is also another prevailing issue.
The cost of governance is a prevailing issue because of the leakages, the corruption.
No, aside from even the leakages and corruption, they could maintaining and building houses for billions of naira, salaries they're paying them.
Excuse me, Ruth. No, please let me out before they go and beat me on the road. Though. I am agreeing with you that cost of governance is a major issue.
It's a major issue.
I'm agreeing with you totally. But I'm also telling you now that there's a bigger elephant in the room.
We know that, but you cannot ignore that.
Now, if that big elephant in the room, which is corruption, which is leakages, is resolved, you get, then the cost of governance will be neither here nor there. Because it's a big economy. Nigeria economy is been number 1, it's not number 4. It's worth trillions. How much total cost of governance in percentages to the total size of the GDP? Yeah. Do you get me now? But the problem to go through now is that small money will remain for us. Do you get? They will come. That is why that cost of governance is looking like this. 720 billion naira total constituency allowance for all of them. If it is judiciously used, Nigeria will feel the impact. It goes down in the right direction. So the issue here now is this thing. So we, in the other side, must now say, okay, you know something, let's target some people. Go to their constituency and flood their constituency using democratic something. You get me now? Get them expelled from the party or make sure you don't win election from that side. Do you get? Then we now say, I can sit as an opposition member and say, you know something, I'm going to set up a movement. That movement will target in the next election 15% of House of Rep.
Okay, let's before we go any further, we have to come on. The End Bad Government movement marches into its third day, with northern Nigeria seeing a return to calm. However, the streets in Abuja and Lagos continue to echo with calls for policy reform as demonstrators resumed their activities yesterday. We'll now go live to Ganifa Army Freedom Park in Ojota, Lagos, where Arise News senior correspondent Tokunbo Uyetunji is on ground to bring us with the latest developments. So Tokunbo, what's the situation there so far? It's looking quite calm. What's the situation with you there so far? Can you give us an update?
Well, that's relatively, it's a calm atmosphere here at the Ganifa Army Park in Ojota. And if you just look behind me, you can see a very, very sparse crowd. But if my camera would just pan around to let us see what is right opposite me, you'll see a bigger crowd of the protesters that have gathered here all day. I mean, embarking on the usual, making their demands and condemning some of the actions of the authorities and saying that they are going to remain on the street until the president personally comes out to address them, stating the steps that he's taking to take care of some of the challenges that they have been complaining about. So that's what the situation is like here. What you just saw now, this road by my left here today has been the spot where the protesters have been gathering since this action started on Thursday, and that position where they are standing, that has been their regular position. What we saw day before yesterday was that they blocked the entire section of the service lane of the Ketu Ojota Highway. Today is the same thing, but it wasn't like that yesterday. They were just restricted to the sideways yesterday, allowing a free flow of traffic on this service lane. But today, that has not been the case. They blocked the entire service lane, and we don't know if they are at any point they are going to move into the Ganifa Army Park, which they have refused to move into since they started the action, citing threat by people that they refer to as hoodlums who could cage them inside that confinement. Ruth.
It's funny. I was just about to ask you about why they haven't still entered the park, because I know that there was so much, the grass was overgrown, and they actually had to tow it and lawn the grass, cut it down and make it safe enough for them to enter. So clearly they've obviously still refused to enter it. But I want to even ask, now that the momentum, it looks like the momentum has gone down a bit. Can you hear me? It looks like the momentum has gone down a bit. Can you see it lasting for the full 10 days at this rate? Can you hear me, Tokunbo?
I hear your question. I heard you very loud and clear. You asked me if this can last for the 10 days that they actually proposed initially. Well, it's not certain. I can't say for sure. But what we've been hearing from some of the leaders of the groups that are protesting here is anything to go by. They are even ready to go beyond the 10 days. Because like I said in the last report that I packaged from here yesterday evening, that there was what I refer to like a new demand, which is that they want the president to actually personally come out and address them vis-a-vis the nation, and explain to them the steps that he's taking to actually ensure that some of their complaints are addressed adequately. You get it? So they are telling me, when I asked them, how long will this last? First, some were even thinking today and Sunday they may suspend the action, but I said no, they will continue. And that they cannot tell yet when they will end this action until they are satisfied through an explanation that is personally delivered by the President of Nigeria. I asked them, his officials, his cabinet members have been talking to the nation, they've been explaining things, steps they're taking and all that. They said no, what they want is for the President himself, whom they say is the one that they elected, to explain to them the steps he's taking. So it's too early for us to tell now. Of course, like you said, the momentum may, maybe somehow not picking up the way we all expected, but it's still not certain It's still not, we can't conclude yet whether they are going to stay the 10 days, they are going to stay lesser, or they are going to extend it beyond that. Because a statement by one of the groups, I think the Take It Back movement yesterday, by the director of their mobilization, actually said they are going to be on the streets, and it may even go beyond the 10 days until they are satisfied with an explanation coming from the president, personally from him.
Okay, it's good that you mentioned that, but what about the police presence? Because we've heard of tear gas being, sprayed at people. We've also heard of some brutality from
Since the beginning of this action in Ojota, there's not been anything like that. If you look behind me, the police personnel are all here. Yesterday, they were joined by the #1 cop in the state, Mr. Adego Kefayo, that's the police commissioner in the state, who actually came after the protesters raised an alarm about the perceived threat of some people who have been known to voice their opposition against the protest. And they were gathering, they were milling around, and they felt threatened that these people were going to attack them. The senior police officer here, the ACP that was here, actually addressed them, but they said no. They actually wanted to hear from the police commissioner himself. So the police commissioner himself had to come down here. He came around and he stayed with them until the last protester here left this thing before the commissioner and some of his senior team members left. Of course, they still left some of the rank and file members who kept watch before I think they left eventually. But there has not been any case at all. If anything, there has been some kind of cordiality between the leadership of the protesters and the police team on ground at Ojota.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toko Uniji, for your great analysis, and do stay safe. Now, Edgar, you heard what he said.
Yeah.
Now, they've been going on and on about why the president hasn't come out to at least appease the people and calm affairs.
Yeah.
And which brings me to another question. What do you think of the president's PR machinery? Do you think that he actually needs more professional hands? People who are actual PR strategists, who that's the profession that they studied, not that, somebody that is within his government. Do you think that also reflects in the way his PR is being managed?
Okay, so before I answer that question, I don't know why the president has not come out to speak. I don't know. I think that's it's just a sense of misplaced entitlement.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember when Princess Diana died?
Yes.
And the Queen didn't come out to speak early enough.
Yes.
And the whole of Britain, put her under so much pressure that she had no choice but to come out.
I mean,
why is he not coming out to talk to the people?
I tell you, because I know the even military governments that are not in power with our mandate still come out to speak.
Yes.
Those days when Tashari them do all those things, IBB will come and address the nation.
You have to. You're the father of the nation.
Of this one now that is with our mandate. You get me now? Is there on our grace with this kind of thing, even if it's only 2 people that are shouting. By now, I would have jumped into that of Jota personally to address the people or call a town hall meeting.
Even connect with them physically if need be.
Which now takes us to the PR
angle
structure that surrounds him. Now, what he has, I've been a strong advocate, very strong advocate for the sacking of Bayo Onanuga. I think he has passed his sell-by date. He did so well in the fight against the military. At that point in time, we needed that kind of bravery in the media. But now, we are now faced with a 60 to 70% youth population who are now well-informed, sophisticated. We don't need guerrilla PR around our president. Yes. We need sophisticated, exposed, internationally connected spokesman for our president. You see, the president has done some beautiful things, but we don't know.
Yes.
Look at the signing of the Southeast something. It just went.
Yes.
But what we are getting are president spokesmen abusing people, attacking people. No. The president, I see the president every day. I didn't vote for him, but he's very conciliatory in his mannerism, in his body language, the way he speaks to us. He speaks like a father, but he's not being exposed to the people. Those who are speaking for him annoying and irritating people in the same vein. You get? I know when we were growing up, the chief press secretary to the president used to carry people from the streets to go and sit down with Obasanjo, sit down with IBB, and have you are seasoned journalist now, and have a connection with the people. You see, so the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations have to take this fight.
Yes,
because it is their profession that is being bastardized by these people. You get? I'm telling you the honest God truth. Even if President Tinubu turn Nigeria into Eldorado, if this communication strategy is wrong, it will continue to have the problem it's having today.
So you don't think it has helped that certain stakeholders, I mean, I remember the Lagos State governor gave a very moving speech.
God bless you.
Saying that, the protests will not change the price of food, will not change this, will not change that. He came from a very humane angle, and several other governors too have made that. So do you see, so obviously just using your stakeholders is not enough. You obviously need to hear the
That's
voice
why
of the
I wrote
people.
an article, and I said in that article that I said the problem with President Tinubu. The problem with President Tinubu now is that he has shown in his appointments a certain level of lack of self-confidence by surrounding himself with close allies who don't understand the Nigeria of today.
The complexities
of Nigeria today, especially his communications people. Okay,
wait. We're going on the break now, so we can continue on that note before we'll go off tangent. So please don't go anywhere. Grab your cup of tea as usual, and then you see right back in perspective. See you in a minute or two. Welcome back to Perspective on Arise News. We have been reviewing the End Bad Governance protests, which entered day 3 today, and my guest is still here to give more insights into the issue of this discussion. So, Edgar, let me ask you, what do you think, what are the things that the government, the President Tinubu should be doing now? Like when it comes to the ministers or when it comes to performance and what have you, what are the things that needs to be done now so that we can move this country forward?
I think the president should now be statesmanly in his approach to appointments, as well as his cabinet. When I mean statesmanly, he needs to pull himself out of the fray. If you're in his shoes, I think he should just resign from APC. He's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So now the economy is in a critical state. Socio-economic structures are collapsing. Unemployment is on. Don't even let me start to talk about the problems now. He should not be looking at building a dream team of cabinet ministers, building a dream team of advisors outside of the government that can all put head together. Do you get me now? And engage whatever.
So square plugs in square holes, round plugs in round holes. In terms of the ministers, especially in terms of performance, what's your take?
I think when President Tinubu came on board, he did something that gladdens my heart. Do you get? He appointed that former MPA woman and said that woman's job was to make a performance. It's 1 year plus now. That woman should call and what in bank we used to call MPR. Those that need to be sacked should be sacked. It's very clear. Those who are performing and those who are not performing in the cabinet right now. I think President Tinubu should sit down with that lady and have a performance assessment with a performance assessment of his cabinet ministers. Some of them are just joking, some of them are fluffing around, some of them are doing phenomenally well. Do you get? But I think the president should shake up his cabinet and be very expansive, statesmanly in his appointment of those that are going to work with him. He's over 70. He should be thinking of legacy right now. Yes. President Tinubu, I tell you something I wrote about President Tinubu. President Tinubu, you get me now, as of 2015, you get, if I continue at that pace, he will be sharing the table with Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, and Ahmadu Bello as founding father of the modern day Nigeria. Yeah. Today, he's allowing little people to belittle his stature. President Tinubu has done much more for Nigeria in the last 10, 20 years than any living Nigeria today. Come and beat me. I stand by that statement. But he's allowing little people around him. People who are buying fuel of 1.5 million for 6 cars. People who are retiring railroads in Abuja. People who are trying to upseat governors in the South to belittle his stature in Nigerian history.
But do you not also think that he has done a lot of things, but unfortunately, it's not also being put out there?
Yeah, we talked about that. The commission strategy is wonky.
It's not being put out there. Because,
it's
look,
wonky.
for instance, now with the Aliko situation.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
It's not being, there's not enough being said about what it is that he is doing.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because the country is also going under so much crunch,
Yes.
hunger, and anger in the land, it is difficult to see the good side of it.
If you look at that Aliko Dangote's issue and make it look like a boxing match between Aliko's PR machinery and government PR machinery.
Aliko's PR machinery, one hand down.
The government PR machinery.
One hand down.
And that is not Tinubu's fault. Because by the time the pressure got to Tinubu, he did the right thing.
Yeah. By
saying that we should give you this. Because that Mr. Aliko Dangote has done phenomenally well, not only for Nigerian economy, but for African economy.
Yes.
One of his companies have paid tax of 109 billion 2023 is what I'm aware of that I know. In an environment where multinationals are running away, you are now seeing somebody that's coming with this kind of investment. The government must do everything within its powers to support it. And now, you see, the minions, the little minds surrounding the presidency, almost embarrassed the president on this matter. But the moment he got to the president, you get me now, because he's a businessman, he's a man of expansive character. He saw the implication of this thing and he stepped in. Okay.
Now that you mentioned that, let's even get to this issue of palliatives. I don't know whether you heard at some point that some of these palliatives being given, they were rebranding it and selling it to people for 40,000 naira. So in the president's bid to also address the hunger of the people and in his own way try at least to give them something that will give them relative comfort. How do we now ensure that we make sure these things trickle down and get to the people?
You cannot run the country by palliative.
No, I'm not saying that I'm just giving that as one example.
I'm just saying that if you do the right thing, you don't need to do palliative.
No, but even if you intend to do the right thing, like you actually
palliative cannot work.
No, listen. I'm not saying palliative works. I'm just saying that even if you want to do the right thing, you can give the order from above. But by the time it gets to the common man, there's a clog in the process. How do we now even try to ensure that transition runs smoothly?
It takes us back to the appointment.
Nobody is saying palliative is the answer to anything, but at least...
So it takes us back to the appointment now. So when you now appoint funny people down the value chain, these kinds of things happen.
Yeah.
Do you get?
And that's what we have been suffering from for a long time.
So you release... I even begin to even wonder how trucks of 720 trucks of bags of...
Look at the internally displaced persons projects. Look at how many of them got recipients from the...
If you have credible manpower along the value chain of government, it will mute things like this.
Yes, you are very correct. But now when you talk about credibility, there are a lot of people who sit like you and talk about the negativity and talk about occupations. No. I'm talking about negative and positive side of politics.
Yes.
No side has, every side has two faces.
Two sides, yes.
Now, those who have the wherewithal to actually make an impact in this government are hesitant to get into the foray of politics.
Yes.
How do we now begin to make that more attractive so we can pull in laudable hands, intelligent minds that can channel things in this country to the right direction? Because if we continue to rely on the politicians that come in and out, how are we going to move forward? We're not tapping into the brains that we have as a nation.
I agree. But the president has done something very beautiful at the economic side by setting up this presidential advisory committee or something that he now put in all the major business people. That's a very lovely, laudable project. It's now how to get those guys crunching. And then whether the inept bureaucracy that surrounds the presidency will allow some of those advices.
That's the big question.
To now go into place. But you see, we now must begin. This is not the era of followership. I've been preaching this for the past 4 or 5 years. You see, leadership has failed Nigeria since 1960. You get? It's now time for followership. So now every individual Nigerian, you get me now, every cluster should now begin to look for how they can throw up credible Nigerians into the political process. And that's why one of the saddest things about NSAS was the fact that those guys were able to mobilize for the first time in Nigerian history, they mobilized people voluntarily. Do you get me now? But they lost it at the end because they couldn't parlay that into politics. Because a month or two after, nobody came out to vote, nobody came out to throw up. You get? But you could see some social trickles. People like Banky W winning elections in very strong conclaves of interest. You get? Now, so if we that's why I say that most of these are our people, they should show some very serious signs of seriousness, strategy. You get? In getting, targeting. You cannot overthrow an entrenched system overnight. It took those who were in power today 30 years. We may not see it in our lifetime. But we can start. We target. Okay, no something. This is Salego. We will get a senator in Salego. That Kano, we will get senator from Kano. That Kogi State will get a governor. Do you get me now? And then you plot it like that. You get? That's what Tony Blair did in Britain. They didn't start a new governor, a new party. They had a new conservative party, where they put in people with like minds. Now, let me ask you something, Ruth. I'm sure you are the question, but let me ask you a small question. If you have 25% of seats in Senate by new Nigerians, you have another 15% of seats in the House of Rep by new Nigerians, and you have new Nigerians.
When you say new Nigerians, what do you mean?
People who have a different outlook.
Okay,
who see Nigerians,
who are not cut from the cloth of politicians.
Yes, people who see Nigerians not from the prism of tribalism, not from the prism of self-interest. You get me now? And now make them chairmen of select committees in those houses. How do you think presidency will react? How do you think governance will be in Nigeria going forward?
More positive.
God bless you.
More positive. But the issue is, it's like a brick wall. How do you penetrate?
You can't penetrate because
listen. These new Nigerians that you have spoken about, some of them have tried to enter into the foray of politics.
It's not easy.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not automatic.
It's not automatic. And they don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the financial...
You don't need the wherewithal.
No, but you need money.
You don't need money.
How many people have won without using money?
Oh my God.
No, let's be fair. How many people have gotten into their positions of power? Let me just ask you one question. How many people have contested for politics and gotten and won according to how they perform without money playing a role?
The one that won Lagos State government, by how many votes in me? Less than 200,000. Less than 200,000. So are you not telling me that in Lagos State of 20 million people, don't have 200,000 people with conviction? They can go out and vote without
because I've seen a lot of...
Without being... So let me say one last thing. I'll keep quiet now. Our sister, Funke Akindele.
Yes.
She wanted to be governor of Lagos State. She has 20 million followers on social media.
No, deputy governor. She ran for deputy governor.
Sorry. 20 million people on 20 million. And then she couldn't convert 200,000 or 400,000. Because the person who won the election won with a margin of 200,000.
Yes.
So
what do you think was the problem with that?
On seriousness, on our part.
You think she didn't pay?
Not her as a person. I'm not saying her.
So what's
on those of us on the other side?
No, but in Funke Akindele's case, sorry to go back to her, but in her case, she had the fame, she had the popularity.
She was politically naive. She was politically naive. She doesn't understand the issues.
But don't you start somewhere?
Good, she have gone for education first when she came. Being the governor of Lagos State is not a joke. Lagos State is the 5th largest economy in Africa. Lagos State is Nigeria. Lagos State is Africa. You cannot say because I have 20 million, I want to be governor of Lagos State. No.
Because whoever is governor of Lagos State, not for deputy governor.
It's the same thing now.
It's not the same thing.
No, she was going to be deputy governor under somebody who wanted to be governor of Lagos State,
exactly.
who even had more wonkier qualifications than her. I would vote for her than that person that she was doing deputy for. Do you get me now? So what are the issues?
Yeah, but you are saying that they have to have experience in politics.
Yes,
but I'm running for this position.
It's not the shortcut.
Edgar, I'm running for this position because I have what it takes.
Yes.
Forget, even Funke running for deputy governor or whatever.
Yes.
I'm running, look at the Banky W.
Yes.
He was running for House of Rep.
Yes.
He has what it takes. He believes he has what it takes.
Yes.
Why should I have to know understand the dynamics of politics before I now run?
You need to.
But you just said your credibility should serve its course. You just said if we have 25% people, new Nigerians in Senate or 25% new Nigerians have, they don't necessarily have experience in politics, but they have the experience to channel their dreams forward.
Can I say something? There's a picture when I was doing a play on MK Abiola called Kashimao. There's a picture where Abiola went to visit Abacha. Behind Abacha and Abiola was a young Tinubu. And you see what that is, Cap.
Okay.
What does that tell you?
That he has been in the system for a long time.
You can't just wake up in the morning and say, I want to be president, I want to be governor, I want to be House of Rep. No. You can't just wake up in the morning and appear on TV and be Ruth Osime. You have to go through tutelage. You get? So that's what I'm saying. That if we are serious people on the other side, because those who are entrenched interests today now have been there for years. They've been understudying. Let me tell you something about Lagos State government that you don't know.
So do you feel that some of these new Nigerians haven't understudied politics enough?
Let me tell you something about Lagos State government that you don't know. During that election, I was involved in 1 or 2 meetings. I noticed something very quickly. I noticed that most of the DGs, MDs of Lagos State parastatals were 40 years below. Well trained, well exposed, LRS, waterways. So they've gone through the system. You get? The chairman of Lagos State Security Trust Fund, my friend Dr. Balogun, he's a 2-time member of Lagos State House of Assembly. He's not up to my age. He's gone through the system. He's gone through the training. Do you get? One day he will emerge. Now we will now wake up because I have 20.
So are you saying now that people who want to enter into politics should have started in their 20s and go through the system, understands the complexities of politicking before they now decide to want to take on a role? That's basically what you're saying.
And not lose their ideology in the process. Lagos State government, that's why Lagos State government always stands out, because you see that flow. You see that Sanwo-Olu was chairman LSSTF. Sanwo-Olu was MD in something mortgage bank. See, Ruth, I've sat down in meetings with Lagos State government officials and they're talking about Lagoon. I'm saying to myself, you cannot be governor of Lagos State if you don't get sense. Because when Julius Berger is talking about how to move Atlantic Ocean to one place, they're not speaking English again. No. I'm saying, I'm looking at this book, they're not speaking English again. No. The way they are speaking, but the governor of Lagos State must understand these things, comprehend it. That's why if you see the flow of Lagos State governors, they are not anyhow people. From Fashola to from Tinubu to Fashola to Ambode to Sanwo-Olu to wherever going to be, they are not anyhow people. Let us take that Lagos State government example and cascade it. Let young children, it's too late for people like us, let young children in their 20s become politically aware, start playing politics.
But from the way you're talking now, you're not saying that if we're following your trajectory,
yes,
I will not say that we will not see any improvement in the quality of the politicians that we have now until the next 10, 20 years.
We can't see now. Well, you don't know around before.
Well, I mean, they can't be.
Me and you have died, I've gone. You can't see that. You don't know around before.
So you are saying there's no hope for this country until the next 20 years.
And there has to be natural. The good thing is that there's going to be natural selection. That's a good thing. So we must prepare for that natural selection. Do you get me now? I think the kernel of this conversation is for us to go and study Lagos State government. Study that Lagos State infrastructure, human capital. And see how they prepare people for success.
That's what you're saying now.
Yes.
People who are going to make the impact that you desire should be start being prepared now in their 20s.
Yes, because when I go into Lagos State structure, I went there last week to have a meeting at LRS. The people who are directors now, they're in their 40s. And when they talk to me, the clarity, I don't understand. Then when I go to states where in the other side of Nigeria, the people don't understand the issues. People who are holding. See, let me tell you something. I got appointed into one something. I don't want to call the state now. 10 o'clock in the morning. When I asked one question at 12 o'clock, they sacked me 4 o'clock in the evening.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, they sacked me. The people don't understand the issues, but they are holding very critical.
The severity of the situation on the ground.
Yes, and it cannot happen in Lagos State. So it's a cabal. It's not a cabal. Let me tell you about Lagos State that you don't know. If you have value, they don't care where you come from. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I have had more support in Lagos than in Akwa Ibom State. When I go to Akwa, they ask me, say, you are in Lagos, Akwa Ibom. There's nobody talking to me. But if you have value, when I'm sitting down with Lagos people, I say, I'm going to employ 5,000 negotiators on this production. They say, how many hotels are you using? Are you impacting? Are you getting me now?
Yes.
That is the kind of people that we need to escalate nationwide. Now, people who have stake in this country must begin to start being interested in the political process. People who are trying to employ Nigerians, people who are trying to put food on Nigerian table, they can no longer leave politics for politicians. Politicians have nothing
because
to gain.
It has taken us so far.
If you sit down with an average politician in Nigeria, you will cry. You will cry like this, water come up for your eye. Now, but a man who is battling inflation, battling importation, battling tax, battling all of that to create jobs and to give people a sense of livelihood, that man cannot sit down, fold his hand, and allow illiterates who find themselves in government to mess up their business. A Dangote who is employing over 8,000 people must be interested in the political process. Otherwise, somebody will wake up one morning and say he's doing fake diesel. Are you getting it now?
Yes.
And you destroy the lives of 8,000 people, destroy infrastructure that has been put in place. So Nigeria, that's why I love what President Tinubu has done by having that presidential committee where he has put in all the major industrialists, put in all the major backers. And then all these guys, even if they are going there to protect their interests, in Dangote protecting his interests, he's protecting 8,000 jobs. Yes. In Tony Elumelu protecting his interests, he's protecting 5,000 jobs. In my brother called additional, protect his interest. He's protecting a business that has 42 presence in 42 countries of the world. That's a Nigerian conglomerate. If Agboje is trying to protect his interest, he's protecting all the people that is under his employment, and then all of this will trickle down.
Trickle down, yes. It's good that you said this, and we also hope that the government, in moving forward, will now be more performance based. In other words, if you don't perform within 1 year, step away and let somebody else that is more diligent come and face it. And we just hope that this protest will not cause more damages, will not cause more loss of lives. And we just hope that the government too will connect better with the people and feel the pulse of the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Edgar. Not only you have been invited, but
you run away now. I was looking forward to argue without
your matter not the only man, woman matter.
No.
You don't show that say you get.
No, I was excited. I wanted to talk to these people. It's not just between we no go agree. What are the issues?
Yeah, but at least you give it a fair balance.
Yes, I am here.
Thank you so much for being with us on Perspectives. What country can preserve its liberties if its rulers are not warned from time to time that the people preserve the spirit of resistance? There is no deficit in human resources. The deficit is human will. The area of moral clarity is how you act when you see people suffering and you have the tools at your disposal to alleviate that suffering or even eradicate it. Hunger in the land is not an issue of charity, but an issue of justice. So as a nation, we must rise by lifting others. And as I always say, remember that life is a learning curve. So that's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime. Goodbye for now and see you next week.